Today I want to show you how I took these two simple old sweaters and I transformed them into something super cute and chic, and they look very new. The only thing I used was the old sweaters and lace. So let me show you how I made them. For this first sweater that I'm going to show you, I knew I wanted to make it shorter, so I measure 4.5 inches from the bottom and I marked it all the way around. I did it in the front and then also in the back, and then I cut it. When you do this, it's best to cut first the front and then the back separately. Don't cut them together. That way you make sure you cut in a straight line and you avoid cutting into any wrinkles. Now that it's cut, we're gonna take our lace and we're gonna sew it to the bottom edge that we just cut. Also, just ignore that drastic change in lighting. I know it was very obvious, but I have a new camera and I'm still playing with the settings, but it's the same sweater, I promise. And I just grabbed a needle and some thread to match my lace, and super easily I just started sewing the lace onto the sweater. Pretty self-explanatory and easy. It didn't take too long at all, and you want to sew it all the way around. Then I cut the excess of lace, and to prevent it from fraying, because it is kind of delicate, I use fray check on the edge of the lace, on both edges actually. The fray check only takes about 15 minutes to dry. So once it's dry, you can grab both edges of your lace and sew them together. And that's it, your top is done. For this next one, aside from the old sweater and the pretty lace, I also use red fabric dye because I wanted my red details, my lace details to be red, but I couldn't find a pretty red lace, so I made it myself. And if you encounter the same problem, you can do the same. Just make sure your lace is made out of 100% cotton. And I just followed the instructions on the dye packet. It's set to mix the powdery dye into boiling water. Mix it really well and then dip your lace completely into your watery dye. So I did that kind of slowly, making sure the water got into all of those crevices to make sure my lace was completely red and not kind of patchy. I left it in the dye for a good hour or so to make sure that the lace will get saturated with red dye. After that, I pull it out and I let it dry. I cut out a paper heart of the size that I want my heart details to be, and I used that as a guide to cut the lace. So I pinned it to the lace to make sure it wasn't wobbling all over, and I cut 3 hearts out of my lace. Again, I apply fray check on the edges of all my 3 hearts to make sure they retain the shape. And again, I let them dry for about 15 minutes. Once the fray check was completely dry, I decided where I wanted to have my hearts. And then I sew them in place using red thread to match the lace. When you do this is gonna sound super silly, but when you sew them in place, make sure you only sew them to one of the layers of your top, not the front and the back together. I almost did that and that would have been so silly, but just a warning, I almost sew them together. So only grab the front or the back, wherever you want your lace to go, and sew it in place. Before attaching the heart on my elbows, I put my sweater on, and with some chalk I marked where my elbow goes. Well, I kind of marked it. It's kind of all over the place, but in that general area. That way I know exactly where the heart should go, and also both hearts will be at the same level. Now that I have that little mark, I know exactly where the heart should go, and I will just sew them in place like I did with the other one. You can put hearts or any shape you want all over your top, or just in random places like I did, but I think the elbow patches are so cute. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like the 2 ideas that I gave you. If you do, don't leave without giving me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from Rabbit and Rose, then subscribe. If you do, I send you a huge kiss and a really big hug. See you next time. Bye!